Today we're going to talk a little bit about getting it all done with a newborn while I'm in the process of trying to get all the things done today with a newborn. I want to thank Thrive Market for sponsoring this video. They have a special gift for Hopewell Heights subscribers in the description, so just tap the more button to see more details on that. It's like 2 in the afternoon and I have a lot to do, and I just agreed to something that's going to make our evening even more busy than it was already going to be because we have a ball game at 7:30. I have to get dinner going. I need to try to get out in the garden, and we're getting a new puppy, and I was supposed to pick her up like next week, but the lady messaged me and said, can you get her today? And I'm so excited, so I'm like, well, yeah, I can get her today. And then I got to thinking, boy, I have a lot to do. Now I need to get it all done. But we're just gonna do our best. And one of my best hacks for getting it all done with a newborn, or if you just have a lot of kids or you homeschool, you're at home all the time. It's really tempting to just be like, well, you know, I'm home. I can just wear the same clothes to bed and during the day. Like I can wear pajamas all day. I don't have to get ready. I'm not going to see anybody. It's fine. And yeah, it's fine. Like nobody's here to judge you, but I personally, this is just anecdotal, but I personally am so much more productive when I take 5 minutes and get myself ready. And you know, I love wearing dresses. You all know that for a lot of reasons. Dresses are just more friendly to those of us who are, you know, kind of like always either pregnant, breastfeeding, or in between, because dresses grow with you. You can wear the same dress if you get the right type of dresses. I really like the smocked ones that are stretchy. You can nurse in them. They grow with you. And, you know, the other thing is you don't have to put a whole outfit together. It's easy, just throwing on a dress and it makes you look somewhat put together. So I don't consider dresses fancy. To me, it's like taking a shortcut, but I'll just throw a dress on, put a little makeup on, brush my hair, brush my teeth, and those things right there. I know this sounds crazy if you don't have a lot of kids or you're not in the newborn stage, like what's the big deal about that? But when you have a newborn, that can seem like a lot. But if I find time to just do that at the beginning of the day, I find that I personally am more productive. So that would be tip number 1 for getting it all done with a newborn. Try to find time to get yourself ready. You don't need to go all out, but just something that you're gonna feel good in, like you got yourself put together. If somebody stops by or whatever, you just feel fresh and ready to go. So let's get going and see if I can get my little, not so little to-do list done with the remaining daylight hours that I have today. The baby is napping right now. That would be tip number 2, getting it all done with a newborn. I love contact naps. I love to wear baby in a wrap. It's wonderful, but I am not afraid to lay that baby down either. I put baby down on their belly. They sleep better like that because when you lay a brand new baby down on their back, they tend to startle, and I'm just not one to swaddle because I don't want their little head getting flat on the back. So I'll just lay them down on their belly on a, you know, firm mattress, not any blankets around or anything. It's totally fine, and I can like peek in and look at the baby, but that I can just whip around a lot faster when I don't have the baby on me. I can get stuff done one-handed carrying a baby. You guys have seen me do it. You can do, I know you all can do it too. I can get stuff done with the baby in the carrier, but there's just nothing like it just being me, and I can just, like I said, whip around the kitchen, around the house, and get a bunch done in a short amount of time because I never know how long the baby's nap is going to be. We just don't do scheduled naps or anything. So let's get going. See what I can get done here. Like I said, it is about 2 in the afternoon. So first things first, I need to make dinner. This is a lesson that I have learned many times the hard way. Do not wait until the last minute to prepare dinner when you have a lot of responsibilities, when you have a lot of kids, you've got a baby, you've got places to be, you know, just a lot of things to do. Don't put it off until the last minute. That's just a recipe for chaos and stress. And I don't like being stressed. So I'm going to throw together something really easy, just going to make some meatloaf for meatloaf sandwiches, which we can just like eat on the go before we leave for the ball game. But before we make our meatloaf and get to the rest of the video, I want to take a quick break to tell you about the sponsor of this video, Thrive Market. If you've been watching me for a while, you'll know that I love my Thrive Market. Absolutely love them. Thrive Market is an online grocery store where you can find all kinds of healthy options for food, household items, just all the things that you need. And Thrive Market does the heavy lifting for you as far as checking to make sure that things are actually a healthier option. They've banned over 800 ingredients, so I don't have to scan ingredient lists and labels. I can just get on my Thrive app and load up my cart and check out, and I'm done. I love that Thrive ships straight to my door. Co-ops are a great option to get healthy groceries, but it's not always convenient to go to the drop-off and pickup place. When I place my Thrive order, it is super quick and it comes straight to my door. It's like the local grocery delivery services, you know, but much cheaper and healthier options, like I said. So a Thrive membership is $12 a month if you just want to try it out and do it monthly, but if you do the annual membership, it's only $5 a month, $59.95 a year. The local grocery delivery service is over double that, and there's so many extra fees. With Thrive, there are no hidden fees. It's just the cost of your groceries. Orders over $49 ship for free. So just the price of your groceries. No tipping, no extra fees. It's crazy. Like, I've used other grocery delivery services, and you know, let's just say that my order total is $79. Well, by the time I pay, it's like $110. I'm like, where did all these fees come from? The tips, the delivery fee, everything. You're guaranteed to save on every order. If you don't save and you're not happy with it by the end of your subscription, then they will refund you the money for your subscription. I also really love that Thrive is charitable. For every paid membership, they donate a membership to a family in need, and they're environmentally friendly as well. So they ship everything from zero waste warehouses, and you know, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, but if I can just contribute a little bit to less waste, then that makes me really happy. So as you see behind me, I've got lots of good snacks in this order. I like to make a lot of things from scratch, but you guys know we do not do the all or nothing thing around here. We're very busy. Like today, I need to get going, go pick up the new puppy. I've got to get to a baseball game, and it's really nice just to have easy on-the-go snacks on hand. And right now, Thrive is running a big sale on bars and snacks. So this would be such a great time to join and get your first order and try them out. So if you are ready to try Thrive Market, today is the perfect day to join and give it a try. You will get 30% off on your first order and a free gift worth up to $60 when you join using my link, thrivemarket.com/Hopewell Heights. You'll see it here on the screen, and if you tap the more button below this video, that's the description. It's where I put all of my links and anything you might have questions about. I will put my Thrive link there as well. So give them a try, and don't forget, today through the 17th is their bars and snacks sale. All right, let's get back to making our meatloaf. I have made meatloaf for you all before. So you've seen this recipe, but it's not on my blog because every time I make meatloaf and film it, we're always in a huge hurry. I never get good pictures. And I like to have good pictures when I post a recipe on my blog. So I will have the recipe with all the details in the description, so just tap the more button if you want that. This is John's grandma's meatloaf, my husband's grandma, who was such an amazing cook. Just like heritage American food, you know, everything in cast iron. She was truly just one of a kind. She actually just passed away this past year at 98 years old, and she was such an amazing lady. So I've tried to duplicate a lot of her recipes. She shared a lot of her secrets with me, but she was, which I can't complain because I'm like this too, she just didn't really measure. She knew what she liked, she knew what worked, and you know, she went by memory. So I do my best to duplicate her recipes, and my husband says that I do a pretty good job. So this is her meatloaf. Before I met her, I had never made meatloaf in a cast iron pan, but I was informed by my husband that that is like the only way to make meatloaf, in a cast iron pan. So a lot of times I will just use a standard skillet to make my meatloaf, but today I'm making it in a cast iron loaf pan because we're just going to have meatloaf sandwiches. Like I said, that's quick and easy. I don't even know, I probably won't be here for dinner because I need to get going before John and the boys head down to their ball game. I have to go pick up this puppy, and it's about a 45-minute drive. So I have to leave early. I don't know what I'm going to eat, but we shall figure it out. But at least I have something in the oven for my family. And just getting back to getting it all done with a newborn, it's a lot about prioritization. Like, I think about just meeting basic needs. Get yourself dressed, get everyone fed, make sure the baby's taken care of, and maybe like do some surface cleaning. And honestly, that's it. If you get those things done, you're in pretty good shape. So my husband got home as I'm kind of like just cleaning the kitchen here, and that cleaning and organizing, I was putting away some mason jars. Throughout the winter, we use all of the things that we canned in the summer and fall, and I end up with so many empty jars, so I just have to take them down to the basement. I end up with too many in the kitchen. And by the way, I haven't updated you on the basement in a while, but you can see it's a work in progress. There's construction going on. There's stuff everywhere. This is the space the cold room will go. We got it cleaned out. There will be a wall that we put in right here where I just like traced with my finger. So I'll just keep you posted. Like, not much going on, but it's just that time of year where we have to spend most of our time working on projects outside. But anyway, organizing, putting things away, really getting the house in good shape, that just doesn't happen sometimes when I have a new baby. Like I said, I just have to meet the basic needs of my family, because babies, when they need something, they need something. They can't just wait. They're not manipulative, despite what people may say. Their needs need to be met. And so that's my main focus. And, I like being able to nurse on the go, but as much as possible, I do try to sit down and nurse the baby and hold the baby and just take that time to slow down, because it's gone before you know it. I mean, already he's 8 weeks old, and the newborn phase is just such a blur. It's like, oh, where did it go? Now he's got like 3 chins now, and little baby fat rolls that are just the cutest thing ever, and not a newborn anymore. Well, I guess I consider like 0 to 3 months still a newborn. To me, that's still a newborn. You're still in the 4th trimester. That is what I would consider a newborn, but they just lose that brand new look pretty quickly. So just soak it in as much as possible. And really, if there's one takeaway I want you to take from this video, getting it all done with a newborn, is that I don't get it all done. And I don't think that should be anyone's goal, to get it all done. You need to drastically adjust your, what's the definition of all for you? And for me, like I said, it's just basic things. But I really do think getting ready at the beginning of the day is such a hack, because you get yourself ready and make your bed, it really does look like you've got your life together. And that makes me feel somewhat better. So sometimes things do need to be done, though. You've got stuff on your to-do list. You've nursed the baby, played with the baby, taken time just to look at him and talk to him, and you need to get some stuff done. So baby wearing is a great hack for that. It's funny. Anytime I talk about baby wearing, moms who are maybe like older generations didn't baby wear, and that's just unusual to them. They're like, why don't you just put the baby down? This is such a new trend to be holding your baby or baby wearing all the time. And I definitely do put baby down sometimes, but this actually is not a new trend. This is going back to the old ways. What was a trend was doing away with baby wearing and keeping baby close. The trend was putting baby in some kind of, swing, which I have a swing or seat or whatever. I have those things, but to never hold your baby, to just put them in something all the time, that was more of the trend. This is what's been done for all of history. Mothers have been wearing their babies for ages and ages and ages. You can actually just like Google, baby wearing in different cultures, something like that, and you'll see some pretty neat pictures and see how it's done across the world. So we needed to get out in the garden. I didn't necessarily think I'd get much gardening work done, but I needed to add some compost to fertilize my roses. Roses do really well when they're fed heavily. I don't know if I'm saying that right. You just need to keep them fertilized. So I got some compost, and while I was out there, took a peek at my strawberry patch, and look at that. We've got strawberries that are ripening up. There were tons of them. So I'm very excited about that. Maybe next week we'll make something really good, like with sourdough and strawberry. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But I just grabbed a bucket of compost, added it to my rose bed that my chickens continue to destroy. and I'm gonna clean this up here a little bit. What I have decided I'm gonna do is get like a little short animal barrier fence. I think that'll work really well right here. You know what I'm talking about there? I think they make them like 18 inches high, and they're really cute designs. So I'll just put something like that there because these rose bushes will get really, really big. So eventually the little barrier fence would look really small next to them, but I just want my chickens to not do what they're doing. You know, I've got really good bloodlines in my, with my chickens right now. Like none of my roosters are wild and crazy. They don't chase you. And for the most part, they actually stay away from the house. It's just this one thing. When I clean up the rose bed, they go and scratch it all up and make a mess, and then they're gone. They're like, oh, we did our job here. So anyway, just fair warning, if you have landscaping and you want to let your chickens free range, they will mess it up. So just something to think about. My husband says that when we landscape around the house, which that is on our to-do list this summer, that we're going to put rock in the landscaping beds. And I'm not going to argue with him. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right about that. So the baby actually didn't want to be in the wrap. You know, I did all the timing things. I nursed him, burped him, played with him, let him be like out and stretch out for a while. I changed him, and he just still didn't want to be in the wrap, and that's okay. So I just took him out, and we're going to go for a little walk and see if we can find the mama and her little baby chicks that I showed you all last week. She ended up, I don't remember if I told you, she had 9, I think, altogether, and they were under our porch, right by our back porch, right by our house. But she has actually moved. There she is. She's down in one of the barns. The guys are right by where the guys are working. They're putting in a new fence row. So we found her, and I was really glad she moved down here with the chicks, because I don't, like I said, I just don't want them right by our house. And I didn't think she would want to stay there. Under our porch is just rock. That's not very comfortable for chickens, but I think she hatched them there because it's we have lattice, so we can't reach under the porch to collect eggs. So it was just a nice secretive spot for her to lay a pile of eggs and sit on them. And while I was checking her out back in the barn here, my little guy, who is our egg collector, was telling me where all of the secret little stashes around the barn were.
Hey, Mom, want to see an egg spot?
Yeah.
You're really warm. You are so
right
warm.
Here?
Yeah, right behind that board.
Mm.
Is there any eggs?
Oh, yeah.
Is there? There is?
Just one.
Want to see another egg spot?
Yeah.
Behind the shelves.
Wow, you know all the spots, bud. That is your job. So we've talked about this before, but when you free range your chickens, they will lay eggs all over the place. Even if you have nesting boxes in a particular place, they're just going to lay where they want to lay. So if you're okay with that, which we are, I think the benefits outweigh, the hassle of searching for eggs, then free ranging is the way to go. All right, so the guys are, like I said, planting posts for a new fence row using the cedars that they cut down. I think I showed you that last week. So they've got lots of work cut out for them. We're going to continue our walk here, just taking little baby for a walk around the farm. I love getting little ones outside with the animals, as soon as possible. It's just the sweetest thing to have them grow up around that and be used to animals, and it's good for them too. So I couldn't get the cows to come over. I was calling them, but they were being stubborn. Both of my cows are pregnant, bred by the Normandy bull that we had here, so it'll be a while, but eventually we will have cute little baby calves. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are getting a new puppy. I'm going to be going to pick her up here shortly, and she will be joining our current livestock guardian dog, Howie, who is the best dog ever. I will have to do a video sometime just talking all about livestock guardian dogs. I did a Q&A box on Instagram, and everybody really liked talking about that because they're becoming really popular. I think people are getting into chickens and realizing that with chickens, you need a predator protection plan. So we finished up our walk, went in, the meatloaf was done. I took that out, but I didn't even have time to let it cool and eat. I had to get going and go meet the lady to pick up our puppy. Planned on documenting all that, but the night just kind of got crazy and I was a little bit rushed getting to the ball game, so I figured I'd show you the next day. So moving into the next morning, we had a late ball game. We were up late, so I slept in, which I will do if we're not in the school year, especially when I have a new baby. And when I got up, got some laundry going, and got breakfast going for the kids. And if there's a day when I know I'm going to be working out in the garden, that is an exception. I'm not going to get ready that day. I'm just going to wear not a nice dress because I don't want to ruin my dresses out in the garden. So like I said, I didn't get to eat meatloaf last night, so I'm going to have meatloaf this morning. Plus, I really like really high protein breakfast when I'm pregnant and breastfeeding. So I'm more likely to eat something like that for breakfast. Whereas I just let my kids pick and give me requests. They wanted oatmeal for breakfast, so I made them oatmeal and made myself meatloaf. And while I was waiting for all of my children to be ready for breakfast, I wanted to give you an update on Kitty. She's still pregnant. She's like me, I think. She just likes to stay pregnant for a long time and get really, really humongous. So she's looking very, very round. I'm so curious to see how many little kittens are in there. So maybe next week. Who knows? It's got to be getting close, though.
Where'd Bonnie go?
Close. But anyway, still waiting for the kids to all come to the kitchen for breakfast. So let's take a look at our new puppy. She's so cute. Her name is Bonnie, and she is a Saint Pyrenees. She's half Saint Bernard, half Great Pyrenees. She came from a working farm. We'll do a talk on this sometime about how I choose livestock guardian dog, or what I would recommend when choosing a livestock guardian dog, but that is going to be her job. She's going to be a livestock guardian dog for us. That is really the only kind of dog that we have need or use for. And our dog we have now, Howie, who's full Great Pyrenees, will train her. So I'm kind of showing you her facial profile. One thing I will mention is that this is anecdotal, but I have found that Great Pyrenees, or the bigger livestock guardian dogs that have a more boxy face and they're just a more stockier build, are much better livestock guardians. They don't tend to run away as much. And so I tried to pick out a puppy that, fit that description, but only time will tell, because it is a little bit difficult to tell when they're a puppy. They kind of all look chubby and stocky with a short little nose, but I'm really hoping that she ends up with that stockier build where they almost look kind of like a lion. You know what I mean? Whereas the more athletic ones, those tend to be your runners. They just want to play. They want to run. They want to go off and hunt and do things they shouldn't do. They're more likely to eat chickens. But yeah, we'll talk about that some other time. So my leftover meatloaf here, gonna add some cottage cheese and some dates. This is a very unusual breakfast for people probably who are not breastfeeding. But when you're pregnant and breastfeeding, you're just trying to protein load all the time because you get so hungry, and carb loading just doesn't do it. If you carb load, all you do is you end up just gaining a ton of weight and feeling really bad and run down and drained all the time. And that's no good. So, I don't cut carbs totally by any means, but I just try to stay protein heavy. And that seems to work really well for me. And, the subject of this video was getting things done with a newborn. And that's so important, your nutritional status. So I think first and foremost, we need to adjust our expectations. Like I said, is everybody clothed? Does everybody have a clean bed to sleep in? Is everybody fed? If so, okay, there you go. You've done it. You have accomplished what needed to be accomplished for the day. But if you're feeling like, you're more run down than you should be, it's hard to even get those things done, then maybe take a look at your diet. consider your nutritional status. Trust me, I know what it's like to be pregnant and breastfeeding at the same time and have a lot going on. And what sounds really good is carb loading. Like that sounds really, really good in the moment, and it feels good in the moment. It's so satisfying, but it'll leave your blood sugar, fluctuating wildly throughout the day, lead to hormonal imbalances. You're going to be depleted in nutrients and minerals, and just feeling so run down. And a body that is, carb heavy and protein deficient just isn't going to function well. And most women these days just are not getting enough protein. And it's really easy to even kind of trick yourself into thinking you're getting enough protein. But I found that it's really beneficial to track that. Just download, and I'm not talking about trying to lose weight, unless you're super, super, overweight or something, and that's a goal that you need to do. I don't think you should try to lose weight while you're breastfeeding. I think you should try to eat a nutritionally dense diet and just kind of see where that leads. So, I use the MyFitnessPal app to track protein. I don't track it every day by any means, but when I'm feeling run down, it's almost just like an accountability check for myself, because I'm like, oh yeah, I love protein. I eat protein, but when in reality, the last 3 days, all I've eaten is sourdough baked stuff. So it's just a good accountability check to get back on that app and adjust your macro settings and really track how many grams of protein you're getting every day. And you really should be getting at least a gram of protein for every, pound of body weight. I think that's what it is, but minimum 100 grams, if you like, minimum. And honestly, I would bet a lot of women are not even getting 50 grams of protein a day. So that's something to try. If you're in whatever season, whether you're pregnant, newborn, breastfeeding, just any season of motherhood, and you're constantly run down, really check your protein. Hold yourself accountable on that, and you'll probably feel a lot better. All right, so I'm wrapping up this video, I get that this ended up spanning over a couple of days, just hanging some clothes out on the line. This is one of those things that it doesn't have to be done. I own a dryer, and if things were really crazy and I couldn't get out to hang my clothes on the line, I'd just throw them in the dryer. But when I can make it happen, I do. When it's nice outside, this is such a great way, like I said, just to stay grounded, to get your bare feet on the ground, to get some sunshine, fresh air, and just listen to the birds chirp. And I really like to take the baby out with me. Sometimes I'll put baby in a carrier, but a lot of times I'll just bring a little blanket out and lay baby down right by me. I do that when I'm gardening too, and I think that's really good for baby as well. Maybe I'll start them out on their tummy, do a little tummy time that way, and then flip them over to their back, and just kind of let them lay there as long as they're happy. And with newborns, that doesn't last long, because eventually, if they're awake, they just want mama, and that's fine too. Then I just, when they want me, I pick them up and I put the chores off for later. Or like I did today, as I'm filming this, I wasn't able to get everything hung up before he started crying and he wanted me. So I just picked him up, went in, and I grabbed one of the kids and said, hey, can you go finish this up for me, because I need to sit down and hold the baby. So that is just another perk of, you just keep going, keep having kids. It's hard in those first few years when it's just you and little ones, and you don't have those bigger kids to be, big helpers. But I tell you what, it really does get so much easier when you train those kids well, and they grow up and they are good helpers. I'm not saying that they don't ever complain or anything like that, but you have helping hands on deck, and it gets a lot easier. That wraps up our time together for this week's video. Be sure to check out my link for Thrive Market in the description. Just tap that more button. Like I said, they've got their sale going on now through the 17th on bars and snacks, so it's a great time to give them a try. All right, well, I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week.